so far in the playoffs, 7 times in the regular season, 10 times all split long. In contrast, Aegis has only played it 4 times. This is Goot's favorite champion by far.
You see that? What do you think of that King Viego skin that got leaked? How do you feel about that?
Do you know the EU caster Nymera?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically Nymera. Interesting. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan of the skin necessarily. It doesn't look as fancy. You know, it looks kind of basic, but it looks kind of human. And you know what? Just because I know somebody who looks like it, I kind of like the skin. Invade from red. Interesting.
Yeah, they started out all clumped up on the top side there, as Rose also throwing up the first blood percentages for both of these junglers. So pretty high on both of them, but Goot just a little bit bigger, a little bit larger here by just 2%. Envy with a nice little ward to see where Aegis is starting out again. Both these junglers, potent gankers. We saw that they that 35-ish% first blood rate, not crazy high, but relatively high. And with Viego and Wukong, they can get their own snowballs rolling really, really well. With attention being paid to the top lane in particular, I think you hit the nail right on the head with that. Jojo and Titan. Jojo on this Nautilus. This is a pick that he, ever since he came into the league, I mean, to be fair, Nautilus has been meta, Nautilus is never not meta, but this is a pick that he has excelled on tremendously. This is a really, really comfortable pick for him.
Man, I'm not a fan of Nautilus. Yeah,
no?
You're not. No, precisely because of this. Nautilus's strength or his hook has a disgusting lollipop, and his ult is a point and click. But if we're talking about his ability to actually fight, you know, you accidentally called him Leona. I think Leona is a better pick. I think just Leona is just better Nautilus. The problem with Leona is it's harder to land the Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare. They're both skill shots, and they don't have that same lollipopping effect. So that's why pros will pick Nautilus, because, yeah, you know,
it's a lot more forgiving.
Yeah, exactly, and that's really what you need here. But the problem is the trade patterns as well for Nautilus, especially early on. You often see them playing aggressive, but they can't quite get enough damage to find kills. Greftar still has flash here.
Oh, man.
Doesn't even burn it.
No, playing really, really confidently. Popping the corrupting pots, saying, that's actually all I need. Actually, it wasn't. No, those are just regular pots, excuse me. I was like, that's a lot of rune items in his inventory. None of them are the corrupting pots, but yeah, level 3, right? That was kind of where you're looking at. Oh, but Greftar playing a little bit disrespectfully here, flashing away. First blood to FNB, but Aegis gets it right back. So it's not first blood for him, but it's in that first trade that the red jungler gets on the board.
Okay, flashbacks to game 1 a little bit, or actually game 2, where Greftar's playing a little bit over-aggressive. You know your jungler's on the way. Just play respectfully there. And
oh, my goodness. Oh. FNB flashing away. Guigo Gnar is a ranged champion. Let's not forget. Couple more autos might have spelled the end of him. Meanwhile, Summoner Spell's going down immediately here. Natuno in a little bit of trouble, but trading right back. The all-in. That's another disadvantage of Nautilus. Oh, as the polymorph goes out. Hang on the body. Titan flashing forward with the Q out. Oh, he missed it and gets punished for it. So sad.
We went from 0 to 100 in a heartbeat there.
Wow.
Across every single lane. We had action kickoff. My goodness, where do we go? Let's start with the top lane where like you mentioned, Gnar is a ranged champion. FNB actually doing the right thing by trying to punish and win out those trades, but unfortunately, Jax does need time to scale. If this happens 10 minutes later, I think that's actually a kill for FNB, but he now has to burn his flash. He's vulnerable. Bot side as well. Perfect timing on that replay. Yeah, like you said, that's the problem with Nautilus. He's not actually that strong in the fights, and especially in these extended trades, it comes back to bite him. Other problem is Titan's getting a little bit greedy as well. He's splitting his damage between both Natuno and Redbird. You need to commit to one. You see how low they are? Great. Now watch the flash in from him here where he goes for the kill. He throws the auto at Redbird. He's trying to get the bounces, but he throws the Q at Natuno. No, hard commit to one. You could have found Redbird or you could have found Natuno. You split the damage, you find neither, and you end up dying. And suddenly this Zeri, who, you know, probably will lose out in terms of sheer damage later on, gets the advantage they need to take control of this lane, at least in the early phases.
And like you said, that hard committal would have saved him. And also just into a Zeri, you got to know that dash is a possibility, right? If you throw out the boomerang blade, right? I mean, and look, this is me criticizing the play of a professional ADC, so I recognize it. Everything I say, easier said than done over the top of my head here. But you got to know that that's a possibility. That's a cooldown you got to keep track of, especially if you're going to commit like that in kind of just little skirmishes and trades back and forth. Okay, whatever, right? You've got a spell sheet, you've got your own oops button. Every summoner spell blown, though, in the bottom lane. Noon Quiver in the inventory for Natuno. Big bad item. CDR boots have come in for Redbird as well. Lulu, if she's able to cast her spells at will, she is such a tilter to play against.
Yeah, oh.
Ooh.
They're walking into this blind here.
Yep. And the flash in for Goot. Maybe he didn't need to do that, but able to pick himself up a kill. Furia on the front foot, up a little over 1,000 gold here early on.
He's called a Ruin King for a reason. He ruins your teammates.
Sure.
I've been KS'd more by Viego, I think, than almost any other champion. I do want to highlight the Noon Quiver a little bit, though, because it's not a great combat item, but what it does give you is priority in lane on these pushes here. So Furia going to be safer to take these objectives right now, especially around the bot side of the map. And that says a lot against a Sivir, especially. Oh, Weaver's Wall. They're trying to cut off Aegis here.
Oh, that's stolen to Leo ultimate. The Abscond does not land, so the Abduct will not be an option. Aegis in some trouble here. The Ignite ticking down. He will survive this fight, but actually Envy going down. Ignite was back up. Jojo had that back, and it's a double kill for Titan. It's all going sideways for Furia. Redbird, run, little Yordle, run. Lulu Zingando chase, run.
Okay, enough slows, enough speed ups to get Redbird out. Sad B did unfortunately lose Envy on that and on Natuno as well. And the bigger problem is double kill to Titan.
Yeah.
Now suddenly this Sivir is fed, and it's Furia kind of over-aggressing a little bit. Envy really wanting this, and ironically, he took too long to drop the Weaver's Wall. He boxed himself in, and there was nowhere for him to run. And then the real Weaver's Wall from Grefthar comes in, and that's when disaster absolutely happened. Redbird is lucky to be able to get out in that situation, and now everything's all tied up. Red is pretty much caught up in terms of gold here on the board. Herald coming up in 20 seconds here, and with how the game has gone, I expect to see a big brawl there once again.
Yeah, no, and that feels like where the game could break open, right? I think the approach might be trepidatious, but the fight will have long-lasting consequences. Especially, I'm looking at Goot. If he can get those resets, and now hitting level 6 as well, it'd be really, really big for him. Jojo, this is something that he loves to do on this Nautilus. And then any Nautilus, if you're going to play an engaged support, you got to operate as a bit of a secondary jungler, right? Because you can, Nautilus used to be a jungler back in the day, lest we forget.
Nope. I refuse to acknowledge that. I know Axe has preached on it before, but nope. That was slowest clear in the game.
Yeah, that was when I first started playing League and realized I didn't have the hands to play mid, and I transitioned into the jungle. Nautilus was one of the first junglers I picked up. It was right when Zac came out, and that was all I was playing. Envy in immediately swipes the ult and swipes Guido into a wall. Sweet lord, that was violent.
Kigo had Meganar and could not even change. His rage bar was full. He just got 100-0. My goodness. And Furia, well, I said we were going to see a brawl around Herald. No, we just saw an execution.
Yeah, we saw. That was brutal. That was really, really brutal. Kill over to Envy, I think is where it went. Goot grabbed that first one, but Envy's got himself 2 kills. Grefthar and Jojo trying to make something happen here in the jungle. Dragon, or the Herald, picked up pretty much scot-free, or consequence-free there by Goot. Titan getting a bunch of solo play gold, and just shielding him. We were talking about it. The biggest difference in the skirmish that brought Red back into this game was the double kill on Titan. Because that advantage, we were, rightly criticizing Titan for being a little too over-aggressive in Game 1 and Game 3, but now here, he was punished for... he wasn't even punished. I guess he was sort of punished for it, but point is, it's fine. Right? A double kill covers all manner of sins in the early game for an ADC.
And you can see right there his gold, highest gold in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned the Noon Quiver earlier because it allowed Natuno to actually match push against a Sivir. Once Sivir picks up the Noon Quiver, once again, Titan has control of the shove in this lane. What he doesn't have is a support right now.
No, Natuno maybe looking for the all-in here. Nice spell shield. I think that kept him alive. Redbird didn't have level 6. Not that really would have done anything in this trade. Natuno popping the Ghost as well. Redbird popped the heal just in case. Titan was kiting back very nicely. That lane prior that you mentioned with the Noon Quiver, is that just because of the increased minion damage, right? You could just kind of, just get that increased priority. Okay.
Yeah, because if not, Sivir just hard shove. Like her W auto shoves already, and the Boomerang Blades likewise will push. So it's really hard to get shoved into a Sivir, normally speaking, for most AD carries. So that Noon Quiver kind of balances things out. But once both have it, then it's just once again down to more support control. I do want to. I'm surprised. Furia, Goot specifically, didn't actually go for the dive. He does have the Heartbreaker available. They already popped the spell shield, and Titan was low. I thought they were just going to pull the trigger on that, and that's what Aegis was kind of waiting for in the wings as well to try and punish. So good job on Furia for not falling for the trap, but also kind of concerned that they didn't try for it. Aegis.
Woo! Well, they tried for that. Aegis with the flash out. Envy stolen the Wukong ult. Aegis going to pop his first. Envy maybe looking for the response to a dive, or if that ult were to... actually, did he just burned it?
Yeah.
Huh. Didn't really do much with it. Speaking of things that didn't do much, that blast cone took Envy absolutely nowhere. There goes the Weaver Wall. Can they trap anyone inside it? No, FNB just walks around the side of it, but he gets seismic shove. There goes Shelly, a tipper on the seismic shove, but he's able to actually get the stun off with the stunning strike there from the Redbird ultimate. Jojo popping the starting stopwatch. Here comes Titan, though. He's got the Kraken Slayer. To hell with a Noon Quiver. Watch how much damage I do when I click on you.
Oh!
No ghost, no problem. Flashes over the wall, picks up the kill onto Envy. Furia hightailing that out of the river.
Another kill onto this Sivir now. Natuno looking for the 1v1. Zeri does not win the 1v1.
No, she does not, but she'll win a 3v1. Oh, Titan, that was greedy.
He got jebaited. Lack of vision in the river. Utterly dark. We saw a flash of the vision there from Red. They see nothing. And
but they just got out of there. Where are they going to go? Where else are they going to go?
Away, not towards the mid lane. I mean, if I was Titan, I'd have gone for it too. Like I said, Sivir wins that 1v1 every single time against Azeri because the spell shield kind of guarantees that you don't have to eat the E damage here. And you've got Kraken Slayer. Natuno didn't actually have Mythic for that fight. So Titan completely baited in, but Good waiting on the side. They're able to punish. And Furia, despite how dicey it went the top side and the fact that Titan still picked up yet another kill, they're still fine.
Yeah, and Natuno has retaken the lead in terms of total gold. FNB going to spike right up, grabbing that tower as well. So Furia have a couple of win conditions online here, whereas it's all falling on the shoulders of Titan. Now he's got tremendous setup. Let's not beat around the bush. The team composition for Red, you were talking about it in draft. The ability to fight front to back is tremendous. It's all on Titan's shoulders, but that's kind of how Red have played this season, and it's worked out fine for them.
Yeah, that is, after all, their stock standard bread and butter style here, their modus operandi. Furia, though, one thing we kind of didn't touch on is that they've got a lot of people who can jump the back line. You've got a Silas, you've got a Viego, you've got a Jax. There's a lot of people headhunting Titan. Oh, Gigo, please no.
Oh, honey. Oh, flashing away. Okay.
That's enough. It buys Red the space they need it to pick up the dragon, but I clicked hard on that 4x4 with Gigo. Those are fast fingers. The moment he saw anybody step out of the bush, hop and flash. Just burn everything to get out. It's the right call. It keeps him alive, but it will be down. And Gigo right now has been the unfortunate recipient of a lot of attention.
Oh, speaking of being the recipient of a lot of attention, Goo gets greeted with an anchor to the mouth. FNB actually shoved out of the fight here. Opts to go for Jojo instead. He will pick up the kill there. Guigo on the chase. Getting the Meganar up, but not in range. Maybe he had the flash stun in him if the summoner spell was up, but even then, I don't think the range would have been there. Guigo trying to check if anyone was in the bush by throwing a spaceship at it, and he finds nobody.
Support for jungle being traded there, but nothing really comes of it. I'm actually surprised, again, that Red's not chasing with the Weaver's Wall, right? They could have looked to try and cut off FNB once Greftar disengaged a bit. And both teams, actually, for showing a lot of restraint here. Now, that's Goot not pulling the trigger bot lane. Greftar not pulling the trigger mid lane here. I feel like this is normally what we expect out of a game 5, this level of restraint. Instead, game 3, these teams really want to get a lead. They don't want to keep pushing it further and further. And we touched on the fact that Furia, if they keep trading, 1 for 1 for 1, they get the extra blue side. I think Red is hyper aware of that. And so if they can pull out a win here, that guarantees them the extra blue side. But it's a tough ask to win on the red side. And even with the draft advantages, like we said, they got, or the compositional advantages they got with the Sivir in the front to back fight, Furia, the power picks are just looking better right now. Hence the small lead that they've gotten.
Small lead that they've gotten, and the margins by which they can get ahead with these powerful picks. Again, highlighting, underscoring that importance of the blue side. Don't want to beat this over the head because, as with any draft conversation, you got to execute it at the end of the day. But the ease of execution going up tremendously. Be really curious to see how the world's meta shakes up, whatever team we send out of here, right? Versatility, and if they can adapt to whatever the gods that be down over in Santa Monica at Riot HQ decide to throw at us. Goot gonna run into Aegis immediately here. Wukong beats him over the head with a stick. Goot stabs him. Grevthar.
I'm not sure if you're playing a League of Legends fight or a fight between kids right now. You're like, take a stick.
Yeah, right. This is a video game for kids.
True. E for everyone.
Yep, exactly. Is it rated E for everyone?
I honestly don't know anymore. No, this one's a little bit more serious, I think, in this fight. It's a long lane.
FNB pops the Grandmaster's might. Don't you miss those good old-fashioned ultimates? It's just a steroid. Guigo actually with the juke here, and with the Mininar extra movement speed, not quite enough. Trying to cut it out. Meanwhile, Bedlam into the bottom river. Envy is huge. He gets the Lulu ult, but he gets CC'd down and blown up. Titan there to mop up the rest of the fight. Aegis getting a kill onto himself. It's a 2-for-1 across the two fights, but it's a 2-for-0 here in the mid lane. Dragon not up just yet. Red come out on top.
Okay, the kids in the bot lane brought buddies this time.
Yep.
The entire team just piling in. And sure, we got to see Envy kind of big, but the bigger they are, the harder they fall here. And yeah, the fight starts off, it looks quite chaotic in terms of the start, but it looked like Furia was the one who opted into it here. And they don't have vision. Again, if you look at the vision control, it's red favored here. There's not a ton of vision from either of the teams, but the bush was the important part. Interesting stat there. Yeah, FNB actually only one of 2 pentakills in the entire of CBLOL here. Now, it wasn't a pentakill, it was a solo kill on the top side. I think he's got the second highest solo kills in all of CBLOL as well. So FNB definitely making a case, and producer just informed me that actually the other person who holds a pentakill isn't even in the playoffs. It's Matsukaze from Liberty.
Wow. Oh, shout out Matsukaze and that entire Liberty squad, man. What could have been Mr. Benchmark is what I think of when I think of Liberty. You must be this tall to ride the playoffs. And, well, yeah, and you finish 7th. That's what you get. Shelly, top tier. In the mid lane, second Herald. Gonna break open the second tower of the game for Furia. Still with that incremental advantage, but being pushed ever so slightly back into Red's favor. This game, for all intents and purposes, is even. What we're looking at now is items, right? Gold is one thing. The standing gold is another, right? Gold that has been converted to items. That's what actually matters. Bit of a simple point, but I think one that's not talked about enough. When you fight, who's got the advantage in terms of items? FNB hopping out of the river and out of trouble. Titan did pop his ultimate, but in these tight spaces, not going to be that huge of a deal. Envy got himself the Gnar ult as well, but no flash. The angle of surprise, or the element of surprise, not going to be quite as available. Aegis and Titan on this dragon. Yeah, Guigo got the Gnar bar up here. Able to play bodyguard. Do they turn? Again, Envy's got that Gnar ult as well. They let go of the dragon. Jojo in some trouble here. Has to flash away. Envy trying to get in range and get a big old ultimate. Guigo doesn't have it. He gets his. Goes FNB into the wall, but it's not enough. He goes back in there with the stun strike. Able to take the dragon is Aegis. Looking for the chase as Red. Hightail it out of there. Aegis in trouble. Natuno's got that crazy auto attack range. You can throw those Qs out any which way he wants to. Titan, nice spell shield. Oh, he's going to turn the fight. He's flashing in. That's a shutdown for one of the best ADCs in the country. Beautifully played fight. He had the backup he needed as well. On the other side, Envy going to pick up a kill onto the sorry support. But man, Titan rating down damage and Grevthar as well.
I feel so bad for the observers this game.
Seriously.
That's the second time we've had massive fights just kind of break out everywhere here. Well, granted, this one started as one fight, and it sort of split up. And I think it kind of highlights the way these teams are going to operate, who we need to watch in these fights. For Red Canids, it's Titan. We saw him turn the fight around. The fight goes so poorly initially because the other person we need to watch is FNB. And FNB finds the engage. He pushes everybody off. And Titan's the one, FNB's the one guy Titan can't deal with. But the problem is, okay, now you've burnt everything. Now FNB doesn't have the Counter-Strike available. And that's Titan's turn. to play. Now he gets to try and run people down as well. So watch both of these players in the fight. If FNB has Counter-Strike up, Titan doesn't get to play the game. But the moment Counter-Strike's gone, it's Titan time.
Really well played. I thought he was toast. I thought he was history. I mean, when Aegis was taken out of that fight too, that's a bit of front line that you don't have. Guigo was kind of doing his own thing. They were able to secure the dragon as well. And again, still, that fight, it really felt like a win for Red. And I think in the grand scheme of thing, it probably was, because you see just how powerful Titan is. But you see, I mean, he's, oh my gosh, just leaping ahead in terms of gold. 2,000 ahead of Envy, 1,000 ahead of Grevthar. Soul win condition. Again, Red playing like a caricature of themselves here, RMC.
Yep. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right?
Amen, brother.
Sure, it's a caricature, but it's a caricature that worked. It won them 2 championships so far.
True.
And, it might win them a 3rd yet here. Now, that's not to say that Red has this game in the bag.
Oh, absolutely
Furia
not.
Still has a gold lead. And as much as Titan's going to win every single team fight for them, anytime FNB is not available to counter-strike him, there's still the split push game, and that's Furia's angle to win. FNB, still not really easy to match in the side lane, and Envy as well. Grevthar has been struggling a little bit to try and match Envy here, and for that matter, I don't think Gigo can actually handle Envy in the 1v1, so Furia can always just look to split push with either of their solo laners here, and the other 4 just kind of hold, buy time, scare off Titan to make sure that Red don't engage onto you, and that is the way Furia can still look to win this game right now.
And I like the Frozen Heart pickup as well. Whether it's Titan in team fights, whether it's Guigo in the side lane, that's going to help him out tremendously. Highest gold per minute for Titan, 460. Yeah, you see, I mean, that what that stat tells you is he is his team's usually the sole win condition. It's not that Red can't play other ways. They can, but like you said, RMC, this has won them 2 championships and it might win them a 3rd. Red Canids, the unlikely underdogs 1 year ago, subbing in Grevthar, going on that crazy run, taking down everybody in their path, and facing another unlikely opponent in Renzga with the Trigo and damage bottom lane, Croc in the jungle. Did that team actually happen? That feels like a fever dream.
It did. It took down Pain.
Yeah. What to the freaking finals? And if they didn't forget how to draft in games 1 and 2, they might have won the whole dang thing.
Yeah, I remember being shocked, and then we picked up Trigo and damage for Pain, the split off, and I was like, yep. Well, they beat BRTT. That was a BRTT Pain as well, that Trigo and damage beat, who ended up losing to Titan. And
BRTT's last game in the CBLOL.
Oh, that's true. Trigo and damage broke him.
Man, what a C-tier ADC, man.
whoa. It's B for BRTT. That's the tier. Thank you very much. Yeah, we did see an interesting situation there. I was actually watching the way the teams kind of opted to just handshake and trade turrets there. Furia getting the mid inner for Red getting their mid for top inner, pardon me. And I actually like that trade for Furia so much more. The more the map opens up, the more potent your split pushers actually get here. Granted, you need the vision to cover them, but if you get the vision, they're just so much more threatening. And if you ever get into sort of the inhibitor levels of the split push here, then the threat is that if you've got 2 split pushers, they can always just TP together. Oh no,
man! The seismic shoves! Netuno wiped off the map. That is brutal. And popped the ghost as well, not the flash, mind you. Maybe he thought he had cleanse as the second summoner spell. RMC. Actually, I guess if you're knocked up,
knockup.
Yeah, you can't cleanse a knockup. Silly 4x4 tricks are for kids.
Well, hey, maybe Netuno was so too. I don't know. I'm shocked that the flash is still up. You saw the seismic shove, pardon me, coming. That's why I didn't stop talking, because it's like, oh, surely he's gonna just walk away from this.
Yep.
Right?
No, it's buffered under you, right? Like you have a split second there. No, Netuno caught with his pants down. That's really tough. And Red gonna put themselves on Soul Point, and for the first time, significantly anyway, all game, they've got a gold lead.
Yeah, and this is also a problem that it's Drake, Cloud Drake stack, and we touched on it last game, the fact that, hey, Cloud Soul has a 90-something% win rate right now. Great. But more realistically, for this game, what Cloud Soul also allows you to do is punish split pushers, because you move faster, you rotate faster as well. And so for Furia, giving up this many Cloud Souls, or Cloud Drakes, pardon me, and potentially giving up Cloud Soul does mean that split pushing will be tougher for FNB and Envy. And if they get caught in movement like that again, you're dead. And even for the rest of your team as well. If Netuno is ever out of position, that's going to make it so much easier for Jojo and Aegis to just run him down and look for that engage.
Well, now it looks like FNB opting for a more tanky build. He's got the Force of Nature, it looks like, on the way here. So throwing more eggs into the Envy and Natuno basket. Maybe that's a bit of a simplistic way of looking at it. But FNB, Jax can turn into a stun bot. It's a very powerful AoE stun, right? Like you said, the one thing that, or not the one thing, but one of the things that this Furia comp does have is the ability to get onto a backline. You've got a Viego, you've got a Silas, you've got a Jax, right? They've got some very nice gap closers, but again, as the Cloud Drakes stack up, as you know, it's going to be really, really tough. And it's not like Titan doesn't have a ton of peel. Envy going to drop the Nautilus ultimate there onto Aegis, but he clones out of there. Did get a flash. It was JoJo's. So eliminates the possibility of a flash hook. But the game hanging on a knife's edge right now, RMC. This is the Baron dance. This is 10 to 10. This is the game that we were looking for.
Like you said, man, this feels like a game 5. This tension is a game 5 tension. This is not a game 3. Like, guys, it's still a best of 3. You still have space, still have time. Now, Furia, I really respect that they went for that because they also knew that Gigo wasn't there. Gigo had to go match the split push, or the wave, pardon me, that FNB had pushed up already. So the moment they were like, hey, we've got a numbers advantage, pull the trigger. Problem is, they still didn't find anybody. And sure, you burnt a flash. At the rate they're going, JoJo will have that up soon enough. And even if not, like you mentioned, it's JoJo. It's the support.
Yep.
Big whoop. If JoJo gets depth charge onto the backline, job's done. Literally doesn't matter if he drops dead right after anyways here. Sure. So Furia, great. You know, you found the pick, but team fighting, not their forte. And if I'm Red and I see that happen, I'm like, okay, guys, they can't really punish us 5v4. Maybe we can look for a split push of our own, send Gigo outside, or we can try and brute force the 5v5 here. I think we win it.
Well, and that's what Gigo is doing. Maybe not quite as, you know, with as much commitment, but just making sure that he knows where FNB is. Throwing waves into that bot lane tier 2. Trying to make sure that he has to respond. Guigo with no TP, though, FNB does have that advantage over him. Envy with the teleport as well. Grevthar running that unsealed spellbook, so he might be able to opt into that. Aegis going to face check a Pixel Brush and be punished for it here. Envy doesn't land the Abscond Abduct, doesn't land the Everfrost as well. Grevthar throws out the Weaver's Wall, thought about maybe taking it, but they call off the fight. No blood, no foul, yet.
Yeah, Red just wanted to blow the TP, and they got it. They've won this here. Now they're looking for the re-engage.
Oh, Titan. Good spell shield by him.
Okay.
But there goes Envy with the Wukong ultimate. They're all on the Titan. They recognize that that's where it's coming. A shutdown for FNB. Natuno getting on the board as well. They can't get anything. Envy survives by the skin of his teeth. Guigo has to flash away. It's 4-0. Envy. Natuno rather looking to make it 5, dashing forward. Triple kill. It's an ace for Furia.
They're TPing in as well. They're going to take this inhibitor. They can push into end the game 4x4 in a moment, in a blink of an eye. It feels like it came out of nowhere. They're tanking this. They're trying to save that cannon minion here. The Nyx wave will be here shortly.
I'm flabbergasted, stunned, discombobulated,